Oh, now y'all want socialism? After the storm hit, North Carolina conservatives ran straight to Big Daddy government and said, can we please have some FEMA? But wait, ain't this the same crowd that says government assistance makes people lazy? That disaster relief is socialism in a raincoat? And Trump? Oh, he gave y'all exactly what he promised. Nothing. He never lied to you. Y'all cheered when he said get rid of FEMA. You stood up for it. You voted for it. And I know some of you are thinking, but what about the families? What about them? We need to help them. And on this, I'm going to be more conservative than conservatives. Tighten up those Chinese-made bootstraps and figure it out on your own. Because disaster relief is socialism. And Trump, he don't need y'all no more. He done squeezed all the votes that he needed out of North Carolina. So now you're just like the rest of us. And don't act sharp, because y'all voted for every man for himself. And that includes you too. And you're not a victim, you're a customer. And there ain't no returns, no refunds. You chose it. So tell me again, how is socialism bad, except when you need it?
President Donald Trump has denied North Carolina federal relief funding, right? Remember, the people here are sleeping in tents, and one of his first moves was going down there to greet all the North Carolinian people. And now, oh, they're only getting $750. Biden's leaving them to high and dry. Ha! Now they don't even, nothing. They ain't getting a damn thing from President Donald Trump. But I bet you they would still vote for him. That's just how backwards some people can be.
So it looks like the current administration is denying the state of North Carolina in reimbursement funds for cleanup efforts for Hurricane Helene. And this looks like it's the second time it's been denied since Governor Josh Stein made those requests. And I strongly remember during the election season where Orange Man's campaign, as well as his fans, were pretty much criticizing the previous administration when it came to disaster aid in regards to North Carolina and Hurricane Helene. Now, I wonder if those very same people are actually going to say something, or if they're just going to move the goalposts for him. Because during the 2024 election, North Carolina went pretty much 51% towards Spraytan Palpatine. And Governor Stein said that if they don't receive those reimbursement funds, they'll pretty much have to use their own state money to do as much cleanup efforts as possible. And this will pretty much delay or prevent North Carolina from actually using their own state funds to do like rebuilding efforts and so forth. But I'm honestly not surprised that Spraytan Palpatine is pretty much leaving the people that voted for him out to dry. But comment and let me know what you think about this, because I know other red states are also asking for funds from FEMA for all of the disasters and weather-related issues that they received recently.
Donald Trump just denied North Carolina's request for FEMA relief aid to help the state recover from Hurricane Helene. So if you guys recall from 2024, North Carolina was struck by a fatal hurricane, one that when Donald Trump was campaigning for president, he used to falsely accuse Joe Biden of withholding hurricane relief from the state and falsely accused FEMA of diverting hurricane relief aid to migrants. Both were debunked, by the way. But now that Donald Trump is president, he is the one who just rejected North Carolina's plea for hurricane relief, which means that Donald Trump is intentionally preventing North Carolina from rebuilding and from cleaning up debris and from recovering in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. And this comes after North Carolina voted for Donald Trump. Just another example of how whenever Donald Trump accuses the Democrats of something, he's guilty of it himself, likely at a 10 times magnitude.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's FAFO season again, and this time North Carolina is in the spotlight. After being hit by a hurricane, the state is struggling to recover. Homes are destroyed, lives were lost, and entire communities were left underwater, literally and financially. You would think in a situation like this one, the federal government would step in with full support. But nope, the Orange Man administration just told North Carolina, you're on your own. FEMA denied their request for full aid. And the irony, North Carolina overwhelmingly voted for the Orange Man, the very person now refusing to help them. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, my name is Rosemary. Kindly consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Before we get to the video, let me play a few clips on the same, and I'll be back with my commentary. All credit goes to the original creators of this video.
North Carolina is still reeling from Hurricane Helene, and now FEMA is pulling in back support Now let's unpack what is happening. Now here's some footage of the hurricane in the aftermath, including the damaged home and the debris. Now after Hurricane Helene devastated Western North Carolina in September 2024, the state requested extended federal assistance for recovery efforts. However, the Trump administration has denied the request to extend full reimbursement for the debris removal and other emergency protective measures, meaning FEMA will only continue covering only 90% of the costs. Now, Governor John Steen was speaking at a press conference, and he expressed major disappointment, stating that the denial places a significant financial strain on the state. He also emphasized that funds diverted to cover the remaining costs could impact other critical needs like supporting small businesses and repairing infrastructure. So there's a lot to unpack here. And with the denial, this affects areas still struggling to recover, with over 12 million cubic yards of debris already cleared. Yet, a lot of work is still remaining. This is very serious. And this decision has sparked so many concerns about how the federal government has the commitment to any kind of disaster relief. Several people in North Carolina actually even voted for the Trump administration to even exist. So now you're denying their FEMA. So it's kind of sad. I'll keep you guys updated with this story as it develops. And thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to share and save this post.
So let me get this straight. North Carolina is still reeling from a deadly storm. People are rebuilding their homes. Businesses are still shut down. Entire communities are trying to recover. And the Trump administration just told them, yeah, we're not going to help anymore. They denied the state's request for an extension on federal disaster aid. You know, the money that pays for debris cleanup, emergency services, all of the stuff that you would need when your town's been basically destroyed. And why? Because the governor is a Democrat. That's it. That's the strategy. Doesn't matter that over 100 people died. Doesn't matter that the state's still buried in storm wreckage. Doesn't matter that local governments are tapped out. It's punishment, plain and simple. And it's disgusting. But here's where it gets even more twisted. They're doing this on purpose. They want FEMA to look like it doesn't work so they can turn around and say, see, government disaster relief is broken. Let's get rid of it. They engineer the failure, then blame the system that they just sabotaged. It's the same thing they do with public schools, the post office, healthcare. They starve it, break it, then they say it's useless, and then they sell off the pieces. And the people paying the price? Families who lost their homes, seniors waiting on the power to be restored, kids who can't go back to school, folks trying to put their lives back together months after the storm. No president should ever get to play politics with people's survival. That's not leadership, that's cruelty. And if you're okay with this just because the governor has a D next to his name, you've lost the plot on what it means to be human.
So Donald Trump has denied North Carolina's request for FEMA relief funds for Hurricane Helene damage, saying that it's not warranted. Trump had denied North Carolina's reimbursement requests earlier, and the state filed an appeal, and the Trump administration now denied that appeal. North Carolina Governor Josh Stein released a statement in response saying the following: "The first step to help Western North Carolina recover is to clean up all the debris. So far, we've removed more than 12 million cubic yards of debris from the roads and waterways, but given the immense scale of the wreckage, we have only scratched the surface. FEMA's denial of our appeal will cost North Carolina taxpayers potentially hundreds of millions of dollars to clean up out west. The money we have to pay toward debris removal will mean less money towards supporting our small businesses, rebuilding downtown infrastructure, repairing our water and sewer systems, and other critical needs." You know, I think this is all the more despicable if you think back to the lies that Trump spread while Biden was actually providing North Carolina with relief, and how Trump flew to the disaster site specifically to try to block the relief efforts. Now Trump is refusing to help when people need it most.
Let's talk about what happened. The hurricane was not an ordinary storm. It was one of the deadliest natural disasters in North Carolina history. People died, roads and bridges were destroyed, businesses were crushed, families were left with nothing. The damages are estimated at more than $60 billion. This is the kind of emergency where FEMA usually steps in and says, "We have got you covered." But when the state asked the federal government to pay 100% of the cleanup and emergency cost, the president, FEMA, said no. They claimed it wasn't warranted. This is where the real hypocrisy starts to shine. When the president was running for office, he promised to take care of the red states. He blamed Biden for abandoning states like North Carolina. Yet, here we are. The orange man is back in office, and now he's the one leaving the state high and dry. FEMA and Biden approved full aid for other disasters. But now, the orange man in North Carolina is getting a big no. That's what happens when you vote against the very system meant to protect. Let's not forget, a lot of North Carolina voters proudly rejected anything that sounded like socialism. They didn't want handouts, they didn't want big government help. They voted for the orange man because he promised smaller government, more personal responsibility, and less federal interference. Well, they got exactly what they voted on. Now that the disaster has struck, they are learning the hard way that when you get government programs, there's nothing left when you actually need help. That's the definition of a FAFO moment. And here's the thing, this is not just about politics, this is about people. Real people who are hurting. And even though many of them voted for the orange man, they don't deserve to suffer. But it's important to understand how we got here. Elections have consequences. When you vote for someone who promises to cut government programs, eventually you might be the one who ends up with nothing. When you cheer for policies that hurt other people, don't be surprised when those same policies come back to bite you. This also sends a message to other red states. You can't scream no socialism, no government help, and freedom first, and then cry for FEMA when the disaster hits. You either believe in community support or you don't. You either believe the government has a role in helping its citizens or you don't. The orange man is showing his voters exactly what his vision of America looks like. You are on your own. And let's not ignore the politics behind this. The president is known for rewarding loyalty and punishing those who question him. North Carolina's Democrat governor has been critical of the president, and some believe that this aid denied is political leverage. If true, that's even more disturbing. Disaster relief should never depend on party politics, but with the president, it often does. This is another example of how dangerous it is to put politics over people. The North Carolina State Legislature did approve $465 million relief package, but that's a drop in the bucket compared to what's really needed. And where is the president? Silent. No tweets, no press conference, no visit to the disaster zones, nothing. The man who once promised to make America great again can't even show up for the people who believed in him the most. That should tell you everything you need to know. To the people of North Carolina, we see your pain. This tragedy is heartbreaking, but to the voters who supported this system, it's time to wake up. The government isn't your enemy. Public services aren't evil. FEMA isn't socialism. It's just common decency. And if you destroy this system, they won't be there when you need them most. So next time you hear a politician saying we need to cut FEMA, slash public funding, or eliminate any socialist programs, remember this moment. Remember the floodwaters. Remember the siren from Washington. And remember who had your back and who did it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.